how are you? Welcome back to this new episode for our webinar series. And today is going to be the turn of a very beautiful destination place. It's it's kind of a heaven, and it's a little bit tricky for those destination weddings, especially if you are planning something big. This is more focused on intimate destination wedding. With us is Vanessa.
Hi, hello, how are you today?
Vanessa.
I hope fine. Did you hear me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so yeah,
Super.
we are talking about this paradisiac place. It's amazing. So you will see.
You'll see. It is a little bit tricky. And well, let's start. And we are going to talk about Holbox. Holbox, it's a very unique place. It is not really far from Cancun area, but still it is far. For those that used to come or know the area, Holbox. It's located about 2 hours, 2 hours and a half from Cancun, and it it is not in fact an isle. It is more just what would be the word in English is just a space of sand, and there is kind of a water in between. It's right here. So the better way or the only way to access to Holbox is taking a ferry, a small ferry, that it's about 30 minutes from a small town in Yucatan called Chiquilá. So you take the ferry from Chiquilá to Holbox and go back. It's similar if, for example, like you are going to Isla Mujeres or Cozumel. So you're taking a ferry to go and back from the place. It's very small, it's very tiny, but still it is very beautiful. The beaches are stunning. We've been there, and we also had a wedding in that place. So we can talk to you about more. We can talk to you over more about the experience we had over there. So
Yes, as you see, it is approximately Chiquila. It's 2 hours, 3 minutes from the airport. In this case, we take care of all the transportation of your guests arriving to Cancun and then taking to this port to take the ferry. Yeah, as you see, the island has two parts, the north and the south, and most of the hotels are in the north part. And in the south, we have a lagoon, Jalahu. There is a lot of mangroves, and that is a place where the luminescence is being taking place in more or less in between May and September. It's amazing that spectacular. And yeah, this part of the island is like very clean and protected because there are very enough of fauna and birds and ecosystems. So the north is the one that it has the Airbnbs. The vibe and everything is like very slow. The beaches are gorgeous and sand streets because they don't have like a, how do you say,
concrete.
concrete? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we don't have,
Kind of
yeah,
concrete.
the streets
Uh-huh.
are made by sand. Everyone moves by golf cars or bicycles, and at night everything is with lights and colors and people walking. As you see, the sunsets are amazing because you, as it's an island, you can see both sides. So it is a wide space of sand in the water, so you can go walking up through the beach down there, and you can find a lot of plenty of beach to walk and then go into the water. Yeah.
Yes. At night, the main street takes a lot of vibe. It becomes very vibrant with a lot of music and people dancing on the streets. There's a different kind of food from local food, from Argentinian, Italian. So there are plenty options. And because of the space or the island or the arenal, it's really um, small in space. It's even smaller, I think, that Isla Mujeres. Hotels and beach clubs are not really big. They're small, and our suggestion, because of the logistics we are going to see, our suggestion is try to do an intimate wedding between 30 people to maximum 60 people, because as bigger the wedding is, you are going to get involved in more logistics details, and the prices could be increased because basically everything is moving through the ferries. They have specific times and they have specific costs. So that's why it's important to focus on allotments, intimate weddings, and nothing bigger than 60 people. Or if you're planning something bigger or larger than 60 people, then we could suggest then a little bit more of logistics. Have a tent, have larger spaces. The beaches are just really wide, so it is not necessary um, be concerned about that. However, because of the space and the area, and there is not concrete streets, it is hard for those vendors who need to move large equipments or heavy equipments like tables, chairs, things that are very heavy. It will be really hard for them to move through the island. Let's call it an island, through the island, and therefore that is going to increase the cost. Some places that are doing weddings, in specific Villas Flamingos, Las Nubes, Aldea Cuca, Mystic Holbox by Royalton, Villas Caracol, and Nomad Holbox. Each of them have different options for the wedding and for the receptions too. But would you like to add something extra here, like in the hotels?
No, basically, they offer as the other venues that we already see. There are boutique and village hotels that most of the hotels are little ones, and sometimes you have to make it for if you want it private, make it the buyout of the property, so you have all the property for you, or we can arrange with the hotel if they have a plan that is could be semi-private area for the wedding,
Depending the
depending,
size of
yeah,
the wedding
and the
too.
whole and the property as well. Mhm.
And the property as well. There is also options for beach clubs. Some of there are Margarita, Mojitos Beach, and I Jose. Those are some actually on sand options. So we're going we're going to suggest you here, if you are planning a lot of dancing or you have guests that loves to dance, a dance floor is going to be really important in this part. The curfew, because of the island, it's going to be very similar that based on the hotels, but it's going to be around 11 p.m. average, 11 to 12. That will be the average time to finalize outside events.
Yeah, and as you see, the vibe of the beach clubs are very boho minimalist. That the furniture that they have there is very beautiful, and you don't need to add so much stuff. So you just need to add some another type of decor for the arch or something about the tables. But you see, the vibe is very boho and natural,
Very
elegant.
natural.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, with this kind of furniture, a little bit of flowers, a little bit of details is just going to make a huge impact on the decor, and do not be really heavy on the budget. These are some samples. Actually, those samples are being prepared by Vanessa. Very minimal, very boho, very natural vibes. It will be important here to consider the kind of ceremony you are looking for. The time that we visit the island, we didn't see a church, so Catholic ceremonies won't be allowed because there is not a facility for that. However, symbolic ceremonies and Mayan ceremonies could be a very good options. In the case of a symbolic ceremony or even a legal ceremony, you need to schedule. We suggest to have a team, especially for this case, that Holbox. But then in the official subject, either you bring your own friend who is going to do the symbolic ceremony, or in case of a legal wedding, then the judge have to go from either Chiquilá, usually, or Merida, because you're based in Yucatan, and the judge is going to just take in the ferry. That's very important, especially if the official is going to be moving through the island. I mean, from Chiquilá to Holbox, because it's going to be vital for the timeline. If the judge or the official needs to go back, it is very important to be on time for the ceremony, because otherwise he or she is going to miss the ferry or miss the ferry, and then will have to spend the night. Vanessa, remind me what it's the last time for the ferries. I do remember you mentioned 5 a.m. It was the
Yeah,
first ferry.
and the last time is 9:30 p.m.
So any vendor or any person that stays after 9:15 or 9:15 at night, they need to overstay. They need to spend the night at the island and take the next ferry. Why this important? This because in the case that you have vendors and your party ends at 11 p.m., your vendors, if they need to take out something or clean out something or clean up something, then like classes, like maths, etc., or structures, etc., they need to spend the night, and that cost of that night is going to be reflected on your budget.
Yeah, that's right. Remember that it's an island and there's no on-site decor or something like that. So everything is bring from the outside, from Playa del Carmen, Cancun, or through Chiquila, and then cross it by ferry at Holbox.
The golden hour is going to change a little bit from the traditional. We can say 5 p.m. is still a good time if you want plenty light after the ceremony. However, something more close to 6:30 approx, it's a good time still to start for have the sunset or nice pictures after the ceremony. Then it a lot depends on the size of the wedding, on the schedule of the event, etc. But then you need to consider if you have a cocktail or you are going to dinner, then the first dances and the party, etc. That is going to be depending on what's the idea prepared for after the ceremony. Equipment, very important. Power generator. You need to check those specifications with the venue, because we can say that enough. But because it's a small place and there are hotels boutique, then it's going to be important to have that kind of backup as far of power, electricity, especially if you have a lot of things involved, like a DJ, lights, string lights, LED dance floor. So it is important to reconfirm if a power generator is going to be necessary. At, at least have one small one as a backup plan.
Yes. And also, every property has to have the permit for the sofemat, for the government to make the ceremony or use the beach for reception or ceremony. So you have to ask if the venue has it, or if not, we have to take it and do it with the government. But it's regularly the venues have it.
Uh, yeah, in basis, the venues has special
Hmm.
permits up to certain space.
Yeah,
They have say certain space covered by the permit. If you go outside of that space, then an extra fee will be applied.
yeah,
That is something that you can arrange with the hotel or you can arrange through your wedding planner. So it is important also to take in consideration these kind of things. There are small details that may impact into your budget
yeah. And you remember
and the whole spend.
that it's a Holbox is a protected area, so they are not allowed like bonfires in any place. They don't allow like fireworks or even smoke things. So we have to be very careful with this and ask to the venue if they have control this of bonfires or something like that. But it is important because as I see this area very natural, and everyone take cares of that special things. And if you are asking about Sargasso, uh, this zone is usually gets less than Riviera Maya. It appears a very few amounts of sargassum, so it's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be fine. I think the main concern is going to be the weather, either if it's too hot or too rainy. Besides the sarcasm. So if it's too hot, yeah. Usually on July, well, the wedding we did it was in July, and yes, it was really hot even for us that we are used to very um, hot weather and very humid weather because we live in Playa del Carmen. So July could be really hot. The end of the year also it's going to be a really good season. I remember that also the hurricane season it's kind of the same. It's going to start at the middle of July and go through November because it is located or it's facing to the Atlantic side. And it is important that in the case of really bad weather, the harbor or the ferry service just close down up to the time they are able by the government they are being notified that can is that they can start giving the service again in the safe way. They just close the harbor, so anyone that's on the island they stays on the island until the harbor reopen. In just a very bad way, the same government is going to notify all the people in the island to move from the Holbox to Chiquilá in case that a really big or really bad hurricane is coming. But that's something that it's not really common because of how it's located. However, it is good to know that that option can happen and how that is going to impact your wedding. These pictures are from our last experience over there. Photography, vendors. We can speak a little bit about vendors of that day. Florists, they came from Chiquilá. They provide, they had a really good service and they provide the arch, the flowers, and the bouquet. The arch, flowers, bouquet, and a small bouquet for the ceremony. We moved from Playa del Carmen. This was actually the ceremony. It was a very intimate ceremony. It was just the family and the minister or minister just go from Playa del Carmen. So she passed also through Chiquila in the ferry. And remember, do you remember where they get married? The location,
Yeah,
Vanessa?
the
Any
hotel
chance?
the name is
The hotel was
Shalok,
Shalok.
shall look something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
Shalok. And the photographer also is from the area.
Yeah.
They have very good service, very, very friendly. Here, because it is a beach, that's a public beach, even it was part of the hotel and it's inside of their property. But the part outside, you can notice here, but I should have some pictures around there. There was a carrito with coconuts. Do you remember
Yes.
that? Like a cart with coconuts driving driving around, but nothing that you can control. So you ask, we can ask to the people just to stay away, to wait a little bit, and we can take different angles of the photography, so we can avoid that.
Yeah.
These are a couple more pictures of the ceremony. So I just want to highlight how beautiful are the beaches. You see, it's really white. Even it's really, really white, and the sunset starts a little bit after the ceremony ends. In the beginning, it's not, oh, well, it is not really deep, the water, so you can do really nice pictures inside, be very creative with your photographer. What do you want to do? And there are different spots. Also, you can do probably some photos at sunrise. So there are plenty of things to do around in a very unique way. That's something that the island or the arenal is providing, very something very unique, very um, adventurous in some way. Vane, would you like to add something extra to this experience that you, or do you want to share? What do you remember of this
Yeah, it
experience?
was very fun. It was very fun. We arrived a day before, so we uh, know them more. More, we talked with the couple and the family, and it was very nice. And then the next day, the ceremony and the wedding, they were very kind and very how to say it, with a much of love with their kids and everything. Not everyone was very excited about it. Yeah, I remember the heat also. It was heavy. It was very heavy, but it was very nice experience. They were like so uh, happy with the ceremony and then they took the dinner in another restaurant, right, in another property.
At one of the
Uh-huh.
restaurants, another
Yeah.
property. They arrived to an Airbnb in the opposite side of the island, and then they moved for the day of the wedding, and I think 2 or 3 more nights to Shalom. So they have the ceremony right in front of where they stayed. And the property was amazing. There was no vendor fee. The photographer was really kind. Florists arrived on time and with exactly everything that we request for. The minister, well, we know Rosario for a really long time, so everything just fell perfectly. And well, the weather was, despite the heat, because this was at the end of the day, the weather was just perfect. After that, you can, for example, in this case, that was something very, very small. After that, as I said, you can decide to go one of the restaurants, you walk through the street. In this particular case, we do stay overnight as part of our services. So we spend, what's one? two
Tonight.
nights. 2 nights in Holbox, which was a really nice experience to walk with the couple through the whole experience and be sure that everything works well or happen as planned. Let me see if there are any questions the about today presentation, about the ideas. Looks like everything is just clear. Okay, and remember that if for some reason you hadn't the chance to see this live on live, we are going to broadcast again or pass the record very, very soon at our YouTube channel. For additional info, in case that you have any questions or you're planning our wedding or you would like to make us part of your wedding either here at Holbox or in the Riviera Maya or any other destination in Mexico, please you can contact us at our email address or also to our website. I'll pass again our email address and the different social um, socials we have like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We're also having TikTok. So also don't forget to follow us to share this information if you find it helpful, if you know someone that's planning their destination wedding at Holbox or they are looking to be in love or eloping there, it could be a really nice alternative if you have the right guidance. Vane, would you like to add something else to?
Mm, no, just it is a different location. It is a different place, so it is magical, really. So if you plan to come with uh, more people, like 20 guests, 30 guests, we suggest you that arrive at least 2 days before the wedding, so you can enjoy the island and to see how it is around. And also don't forget that everything is paid in cash, most of the locals, because internet is not how do you say, fast,
Stable,
stable
fast,
at the
stable.
area. So yeah, you have to bring cash. And other things that you can do is rent a golf car for the day of the wedding, if you have to move between properties or sites,
Or imagine for your
or your
arrival.
arrival. Yes,
For your arrival, you can arrive in a
in a
golf
golf
cart.
car. Yeah. So there are many possibilities in this place. It's a white canvas. It's gorgeous. Sunsets are wow. And if you are thinking about whole bush, don't worry, it's not that hard. So just we need to be very like specify what the things are you bringing and are you having, so we have everything organized for you and you just enjoy.
If it was something specific of this place you want to highlight, what would be
uh,
for a wedding?
for a wedding, the sunset.
The
The
sunset.
sunset, yeah.
I I would say the vibe.
Hmm.
The sunset it is stunning. However, the vibe of the
Yeah.
island it's very quiet. It's very intimate. That's why we are suggesting something for small weddings. You are going to feel it different versus Cancun or even to Isla Mujeres or Cozumel because they're a little bit bigger in population. So I'll say vibe. Vanessa will say in sunsets. So this Holbush has plenty options, plenty attractive to do a dream wedding. And well, this was a webinar. Hope you enjoy it and hope you have a lot of more information for planning your destination wedding in Mexico. And of course, again, if you find it helpful, this information with this webinar, you can share it. You can let us know if you need assistance. There is our email address. There is our different social networks where we are, Instagram, Facebook, etc., TikTok. And well, we see you next month in a new episode. Let's see, episode for this webinar. So, hope you enjoyed. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Have a
Anne.
good one. Yeah, bye.
Bye.